Hey guys, welcome back to the video. In this video, I'm going to be ranking every single movie in the Jurassic franchise. So with the release of Jurassic World Dominion, I actually watched and rewatched the entire Jurassic franchise before the movie came out. Now, before we get into it, if you guys want all my full thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion, you can click the link in the description down below to check out my spoiler-free review. Also, hit the subscribe button, notifications on so you don't miss any time I open a video or I go live. Both don't waste any more time. Let's get right into it. So starting it off in 6th place, at the bottom of the franchise for me is honestly no surprise to myself, The Lost World Jurassic Park. This is the only movie in the original trilogy that doesn't have Alan Grant, and I think that's why it suffers. It feels like it strays too far away from the original, and honestly, every movie 5 and up, I can say I can actually feel elements from the first movie, and the only real element from the first movie that I can feel in this one, which is the direct sequel to the first one, is the horror aspects. But even then, this is probably the least frightening movie out of every single one of the movies in this franchise, and as a whole it is just really disappointing. This movie just has so much potential going off of Jurassic Park that I thought that they would capitalize on it, and I thought they would make more of a direct sequel rather than just more of a spin-off sequel, I guess. But with that being said, moving on to 5th place is the newly released Jurassic World Dominion. This movie disappointed me on all fronts. Again, if you want to check out my full spoiler-free review, link is in my description for that. But this movie was just all around very disappointing, but I can at least say it had some similarities to the first movie. Of course, we have the legacy cast, and like I said in my review, I actually really like how they were utilized. I like the storytelling in this movie, and at times the action is still really fun. It's very blockbustery. It's just your classic average blockbuster, but that doesn't mean it's good. To put it plainly, I think this movie takes the worst of the entire franchise and just sprinkles in the legacy cast characters to make it a little bit better. I don't think they had a vision in mind for this entire trilogy because Dominion just is completely separated from the other two World movies, which I actually really enjoy. But speaking of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is in my number 4 spot, and this movie isn't that bad in my opinion. I think a lot of people hate on it for no reason at all. I think it's actually a fairly fun movie. I think it's actually a good time, and honestly, I'm one of the few people in the entire Jurassic franchise I think that actually enjoys this movie a lot. This movie is not without its flaws though. It's probably easily the most fatally flawed movie out of this entire franchise because at times it's literally this epic rich people manhunt through a mansion, and it's really scary at times as well, but it doesn't really take advantage of what this franchise was built off of, which was well-written horror. Like Jurassic World Dominion, I feel like it takes its path with more cheap thrills than actual built-up tension, and it kind of feels like that in the beginning of the movie, but towards the end, that final act is one of my favorite final acts in this entire franchise, and I really just love what they did with all of the characters here. I love the Jurassic World saga because they modernized a lot of Jurassic Park, but this movie also came with the flaws of movies like Jurassic Park III. So in number 3 is going to be Jurassic Park 3 for me. I think this one and Fallen Kingdom have the same score. I just think that Jurassic Park 3 takes everything that Fallen Kingdom did just a little bit further and a lot better. Obviously, this is the only movie in the original trilogy other than the original movie that has Alan Grant, and they take that to their advantage. I actually really like this story as well. It was a creative way to get Alan Grant back on the island, kind of making these rich people want to get their kid back, and I really enjoyed this storyline, and I'm very happy that I finally got to watch this original trilogy because though I wasn't a fan of the second one in the original trilogy, the first and third are just awesome. But like I said before, Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic Park 3 are very close for me, and I think the biggest reason for that is because Jurassic Park 3 is just what Fallen Kingdom was, a little bit more elevated though. I think Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom story is definitely more creative, and I definitely feel like, of course, they modernized what honestly The Lost World was trying to do. With confidence, I could still probably say that Jurassic Park 3 is just a little bit better than Fallen Kingdom. But moving on, in 2nd place, my second favorite movie in this franchise is, honestly, I think to no one's surprise, Jurassic World. I think this movie is actually really damn good. I love how they just modernized everything that Jurassic Park did. Now, do I think this method is going to work, kind of just continuing this franchise in the future? Not really, but I think Jurassic World did a great job of kind of rebooting this franchise in and of itself. It took the ideas of Jurassic Park and honestly the best parts of Jurassic Park and made it into just a more modernized, more fleshed out, like realistic to our future tech type of thing. And I really just enjoyed that. This movie is fun. It has great action blockbuster blockbuster set pieces, but at the same time, it's still super epic and honestly still emotional. Chris Pratt in this movie, I would say, is probably my favorite character from the entire franchise. Of course, in Dominion and Fallen Kingdom, the writing is just, the script itself just isn't good. But in this movie, Chris Pratt just really blew me away with Owen Grady, and I was really happy with his performance. I also like the way that this movie sets up Fallen Kingdom, and then Fallen Kingdom sets up Dominion. But of course, like I said in my spoiler-free review for Jurassic World Dominion, Dominion didn't really take what was set up in these past two movies, and I was really frustrated by that. And again, the reason I'm very frustrated by it is because I'm a huge fan of Jurassic World itself. But that only leaves one movie left for the #1 spot, and that is the original Jurassic Park. This movie is near a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I'll probably say it's like a 9.5. But this movie overall is just absolutely spectacular. It's fully going in that horror route. It's scary, it's fun, it's exciting, it's exhilarating. It is so good, and it hits on every single possible cylinder. Now, like I said, I rewatched Jurassic Park for this watch through the franchise, but I actually never technically seen it in full at once. I'd seen parts of it. I obviously got to watch the ending, stuff like that, but I never seen it in full in one sitting until I watched it for this ranking, and I'm so happy I watched it in whole because it is so good. I also just absolutely love the practical effects. Jurassic World didn't do it as much, and honestly, Dominion did a great job with the animatronics, but nothing will ever be Jurassic Park. It is just so good. The tension that they build in these scenes is absolutely unmatched, and I was so excited to watch the sequel and then Jurassic Park 3, and to find out that the sequel itself, the direct sequel, wasn't actually a direct sequel and it was more of like a spin-off sequel, was probably one of the most devastating things I ever found out. But again, Jurassic Park, just a phenomenal film. It again fires on all possible cylinders, and as a whole is just, it's a near perfect film. But yeah, guys, those are all the movies in the Jurassic franchise ranked. Let me know your ranking for all of these movies in the comments down below. Also, you can check out my spoiler-free review for Jurassic World Dominion. It'll be linked in the description down below. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.